All right, what's up, Internet? We're coming to you live from downtown San Jose at the Oculus Connect 2?
3.
Yeah, 3 is the number. So we're here. I'm Joe Durbin. I write for the site. This is Will Mason. He started the site. That's Ian and David. We don't know how they got in. And this is Elizabeth, does our social media. And we're talking about a lot of games. So this is our very well-used list of touch games that we played today. Not just touch, but like new Oculus Rift games that we got to play.
Oh, but
at
one
Connect.
touch.
Yeah, there was one, I guess, that wasn't touch. Yeah. That was, but still, it was a very fun game.
Yeah, totally.
So let's break it down.
Two, yes.
Let's break it down like this. Starting with you, Ian. What was your favorite thing that you tried today?
Landfall.
Say right in the camera there, sweet cheeks.
Landfall was really cool. It was like it's a shooter, multiplayer shooter, and that was a gamepad game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was
It's
amazing.
a dual stick shooter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very sort of top-down shooter, classic style kind of game.
Yeah. Some people think it's an RTS. It's been falsely labeled elsewhere as an RTS.
It is not an RTS, y'all.
Yeah. It's a twin stick shooter, which basically means you're top down looking at this little dude and you're running around and making him shoot at stuff.
It's like one of those diorama games, but it's a shooter.
It reminded me a bit of Dota.
Yeah.
Anybody else get that feeling?
I mean, based just sort of on the camera perspective, totally.
Yeah.
I think the camera's perspective, as well as each side has NPC units that are funneled into the game.
Every Dota
Kind of
fan
like your
just
little
turned off our
minions.
video at that point.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you idiots. Dota's much more complex than that.
We didn't realize when we played it, like when you kill the human player, it counts as like 10 of the robot players.
Yeah.
So if you just kill the humans again and again.
So, it was you versus these two, right?
Yeah.
And then who won?
And then
You had someone else on your team.
I had
David,
somebody
yeah.
else
I
on
had
my
Gizmodo
team,
on my
yeah.
team, we
And he
didn't
kept
win.
dying.
Gizmodo and Upload.
You
did not work
and
together.
I
Yeah.
destroyed the Gizmodo
And me.
Yeah.
Yes, but he
team.
kept dying.
Yeah.
I captured the flag.
Oh, of course.
Okay,
I mean, Upload always leads the way with these VR games.
So diss track Gizmodo. Welcome back to our Gizmodo Sucks podcast. No, nothing
We
but
love
Yeah.
we love you
Shouts
guys.
out.
over
But next
there.
time, just play a little better.
So second one.
Oh.
On to the next one.
Yeah, David, what was your favorite thing you tried?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think my favorite game that I played today would probably be Arctica 1, which is from 4A Games. They make the Metro and Metro Last Light. They're their main games, and they've been working on this for about 2 years now. It's a cover-based first-person shooter. So you have, dual guns in your hand, you're ducking behind stuff, you're teleporting around, and you're actually shooting real human enemies. The AI is all humanoid. There are some creatures, there's some horror elements in there too, but it's a very AAA quality shooter is how they described it. It's going to be a full campaign, single player only. It's going to be one of probably the biggest and most robust touch games, I think.
Hey, you very specifically pointed out that you're shooting actual humans.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem to be something that we're seeing a lot in VR.
It's kind of taken for granted in regular games, but in VR, I think people are hesitant to put a gun in your hand and give you, a human to shoot in the face.
Yeah.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
if we talked about that with Dead and Buried, like even if it is human,
Like ghosts
everything
humans,
else in the game is cartoonish.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're in a setting that doesn't.
These were
feel
like
real.
really well rendered in like the 4A
Oh,
engine,
yeah.
which is
This
another thing. They looked
game was
real. They
gorgeous.
bled when you shot. They cried out when
wow.
you it was.
Yeah, I mean, you walk into a room and they're having a conversation.
Yeah.
It establishes their humanity before you kill them.
Right.
And makes it
Which
kind
was
of
interesting,
jarring.
but
Did
I
you feel like,
Do you feel remorse?
No.
did you feel bad?
No, not at all.
Maybe he's not the best
David's a
person to ask.
cold-blooded killer over here.
Yeah.
They felt the same way he felt when he would like kill small squirrels out behind his house. It was the
It's
same
Sid
thing.
and
Damn.
Toy Story is based on my
Yeah,
childhood.
yeah,
actually.
a little worse. But it was interesting. I mean, there were mutants to kill and stuff too. But
Yeah.
that like veil of video games is still in front of your face. You don't feel like an axe murderer for. Well, I didn't let anyone talk long. I was too freaked out because it's a creepy game. So I didn't let anyone talk very long. I just killed them really fast. but it was which is my motto in Dark
Shoot first,
Alleys.
ask
as well.
questions later.
Elizabeth, what did you like the best?
I finally got to try Zombie Riot. I had been waiting and waiting to try that one. It's my favorite. I'm a zombie slayer in my spare time. It's beautiful. I love it. I love the green goo that comes out, the satisfaction that you get.
That's a very cartoony
Goo is a
game.
good word. That's
Yeah,
accurate.
yeah.
Gooey.
I think they must have had like the God mode turned on because I feel like the ammo is just unlimited, which I don't think is there. Maybe it is.
really?
Maybe that is what I never had to reload or anything. So you get like these Uzis and just like hold down the trigger, and just like
exactly. I think I'm
mow
well
down.
prepared for zombie apocalypse if I have some.
Would you in
machine
fact
guns.
say that they were gooey Uzis? Would that be accurate?
Gooey Uzi,
Yeah.
ooey and gooey?
Yeah.
I heard. Speaking of that, so I heard Carmack
Speaking
say
of
something
goo?
interesting.
Okay.
No, speaking of shooting,
okay.
Carmack said something interesting. He said, if you see something good in another game, steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
I was thinking about the reload mechanism in Dead and Buried. I want to see that in every game.
Just like the flick your wrist, flick it
like
back.
flick
Yeah.
outside,
Yeah.
flick them back, and you're ready to go.
That's really-
Arctica
super well
did
done.
use it
You gotta
a
go
similar thing with the revolver. You would flip it down and back up.
So they're trying to make it
Yeah.
as like cohesive as possible, I think, because like in most games, like what do you press on a PlayStation controller to reload? Usually it's
Circle.
square or circle. I meant circle. Or on Xbox controller it's X usually. So like that kind of grammar has already been written, and now we're doing that in BR2.
Well, in all fairness, in Zombie Riot, you have to wait a few seconds between each shot for a revolver.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
so you know.
It's not a
yeah.
total, but it was
it's not
mostly
total,
a bullet
like
fest. It was crazy.
Automatic.
You mowed
Yeah.
them down. So shouts out to those guys. My favorite thing, I really liked Robo Recall, which was this very. We can share them. Let's do it together. Yeah. Which is this very arcadey, like almost kind of opposite of the Arctica one, like a very arcadey sort of not killing humans, killing robots. But they had a lot of interesting mechanics of like you can grab the robots, you can like pull them apart, you can like throw them. You can grab the bullets out of the air. These are the bullet train
I think
guys.
honestly, it's birthed from Bullet Train.
Yeah.
And I think there's a single moment that I can remember that really encapsulates why this game is so incredibly badass. I was standing and there's a robot coming at me. I teleport in front of him. I grab him by the chest, grab his arm, pull his arm off, smash his head in with his own arm, toss him into another robot, have one shooting at me, grab the bullet out of there, and then kill that robot like that. It's like probably the most badass I've ever
That's
felt.
awesome.
It was just so
And the whole
fluid
time that's
and fun
happening, like
and-
this, it's based on like 80s, 90s arcades. So like you would like hear this voice going like, merciless. Or,
Yeah, if you killed a robot and like had him up in the air and you just kept shooting,
juggle
you'd
it.
get a like bonus for juggling him up into the air.
Yeah.
And I juggled one guy so far, he says, "I'm going to robot heaven."
so it's funny, but it's also like it takes some technical skill to play, and like
Yeah.
like something about touch controllers and guns that works really well. I think it's just the way they shape your hands naturally, and the triggers feel really responsive.
Yeah.
It feels like you're holding a gun, and less like you're holding just a peripheral.
I think
that's
it
supposed to
really
be a
just
gun.
it reminds me of the first time that I killed somebody.
Yeah.
It's-
Oh, yeah.
Which was right now, right?
Excuse me.
Yes.
So
Quill.
Quill, yeah.
Quill.
Who tried Quill?
I did.
Yeah, what did you
Yes.
think? Versus
It-
Tilt Brush.
I was very surprised. I went into it not expecting to really like it because all of the, the animations for it are very wispy, and I kind of like hard line structure. I love Tilt Brush. Like, I guess that's something that I should say like kind of as a precursor. I'm obsessed with Tilt Brush, but Quill kind of took it to another level. I was really impressed, and I love the fact that something that you make in Quill, you can grab, you can rotate, you can expand it, you can. That's not something we've seen from Tilt Brush yet.
It feels
it's static.
It feels slightly more detail oriented.
Like, I think Tilt Brush added like the resizing recently, but what
They did.
they also had this really cool thing in Quill where the objects nested under one another, and you could actually
Like layers.
You could
operate a
layer it.
menu where you could either, like, let's say you've got 4 kids in a car, and you could remove each of the kids and resize the car so it's really big, and then put the kids back in at the same size that they
That's
were.
cool.
Or, because it's a nested object, you can make all the kids part of the car and then resize them all together. And you could do all that with the menu system in Quill.
That's
So,
so cool.
with all the layers and everything, I think we were talking to him, and he kind of described it as Photoshop for VR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of a professionally oriented tool.
Right,
Like, so it's
right.
like, I don't think it's quite where you'd call like Photoshop in VR, but if Tilt Brush is the Microsoft Paint, then this is somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah, the way they described it was the
This is like
difference
the
between
GIMP for VR.
Yeah.
If anyone knows what GIMP is,
That's
It's
yeah,
an open source. It's like an open source version
Yeah.
of Photoshop.
Will's not being offensive to disabled people. That's the program. On the internet, you can down-
But now
can
you
download
are.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Way to go, Joe.
I was just calling out, the injustice.
You have to
G.I.
blink that
Joe.
Stuff. But they said like Quill's more about drawing, and like Tilt Brush and Medium more about like sculpting.
Sculpting,
So
yes.
like it's sort of
Yeah.
the difference between those two things. Is that not your opinion?
It's very similar. There's a lot of similarities to tilt brush, but I think one of the things that they pointed out was trying to put enough flexibility into the brushes and the way they work so that you can't tell what it was made in.
Mm.
Like the point was, like back in Photoshop's early days, you could tell that was made with Photoshop, and they didn't want to have that with Quill. They wanted to be like unidentifiable, that it was built a specific way.
I think even the creators were talking about how some of the stuff they've seen, they didn't believe it was made in Quill.
And when you look at tilt brush, you can tell a lot of things were made in tilt brush. It has a very specific look.
That's true.
David
Don't put that.
playing karaoke in VR.
Well, what's the actual name? Sing.
It's
like
literally called karaoke
No,
on our
No.
Sing
Hold on.
Space.
I have sing
Yeah.
space. Sing space.
I will survive.
I will survive.
Oh no!
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
No.
We'll see the video. But I will tell you all
this.
this.
Point,
I
right?
will tell you
That's
all
what
this.
should
We were
have
sitting
been
in a
this
cube listening to him with a headset on singing I Will Survive. I turn around as I'm buckling over laughing, and there's a crowd of about 30 people in the press room that have gathered in front of this. Everyone's got their camera out recording this guy singing in a headset. It was surreal.
People
It was
left
hilarious.
VR. VR was something people dreamed about
Yeah.
for years.
People literally took headsets off in demos, walked out, and to see what the heck the noise was.
Yep. It was
It's
quite
hilarious.
the performance of the day.
And I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd call it good, but I would call it loud.
Oh, it was excellent. Excellent.
I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. I will survive.
So that's day one for us here at Oculus Connect. We'll be back with another one of these wraps to talk about all the stuff that you guys already know about now because we are in the past. So
We're trapped. Please help.
So we'll be back tomorrow from the future.
And if you've seen David's first grade teacher, please call someone. He's been missing for 47 years. We're out.
See you guys.